if a decision had the ability to impact your life for the next 4 years and beyond, wouldn't you want your opinion heard in that choice? Well, that's what happens every time we have a presidential election every 4 years. A choice is being made that will affect your life for the next 4 years and beyond, and the rest of the country. As U.S. citizens, all of you have the right to vote and have your opinion heard in these decisions. So I'm going to explain to you when you can vote, where you can vote, and who's able to vote, and how you have to do it. And I voted in this year's election, so now I have a better understanding of the process and what to do. I'm going to be going over who's able to vote in the state of Michigan, the different ways that you can cast your ballot, and most importantly, the correct way to fill out the ballot, as any mistake or error can have your vote not count and your voice will not be heard. Now, the people who are eligible to vote in Michigan to register are, according to the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, are anyone who is 18 years of age by the time of the election. You must not be serving a prison sentence currently. You must be a U.S. citizen, and you also must be a Michigan citizen and a citizen of the city or township that you're planning to vote in for at least 30 days prior to the election. Now, here's a couple ways that you can cast your ballot. The first way to cast your ballot is by in-person voting. In person, you go to a polling station in your local city. These polling stations in Michigan typically open around 7 a.m. and close by 8 p.m. To vote, you just have to be in line by 8 p.m. You might be able to vote a little bit after if the line's too long, but you just got to be there. And once you're there, you have to present some form of ID. If you have to present an ID, you can present a school-issued ID from a high school or accredited institution, a military ID, your passport, and a few other forms. Once it's your turn, you'll receive a ballot, go to a voting booth that is secure and private so no one else can see who you're picking, and then you have the choice to either fill out the entire ballot the same way where you want all Republicans, all Democrats, or you can fill out each race individually for whoever you want. And then once you're done, you turn it into this designated area for ballots. And then the second way, which has become a lot more popular this year after the coronavirus, is the absentee ballot. This is for those who either wish to not go to in-person voting or are unable to be there that day but still want to vote. Absentee ballot applications are sent out to every registered voter, usually in May. And they can also be downloaded or picked up at the local clerk's office if you do not receive that. They can be turned in person starting 45 days before the election and up until that 8 p.m. mark, the day of the election. They can be turned in, according to the Secretary of State again, Jocelyn Benson, they can be turned in either by mail, email, fax, or you can go in person to your local clerk's office to turn it in. And if you turn it in person at your local clerk's office, you still will need to present some form of ID to verify that it is you. And now this is how to properly fill out your ballot according to Melissa Purdy of the AARP. You must completely shade in the oval that you are selecting. Do not go outside of the oval. Do not only half shade it in. It's like you're filling out the SAT or something. You want a nice shaded in bubble so that your vote is not in question. You must only use black or blue ink or else it will not count. Do not use red ink or a marker that's going to bleed through, or a pencil so that can be erased or changed. Do not vote for more candidates than is indicated under each race. You can only vote for one president, don't vote for two, don't vote for 3 senators or something like that. If you are voting via absentee ballot and you're putting it in the mail, or if you're turning in person, you got to put it in the secrecy sleeve without your vote showing, or else it will not count. And then also when you're doing the absentee ballot, you must sign the back of the envelope that you're returning in, or else again it will not count to verify that you filled it out. If you make a mistake in the process of filling out your ballot, do not try to erase it or scribble it out or anything. That will just not count. Go to your clerk's office or wherever you want to do it and get a new ballot and just start over. And then finally, make sure that it gets there on time, because if you try mailing it in the day of the election, it's not going to get there, and your vote also will not count. So today I began by listing off the requirements to become a registered voter in the state of Michigan. I then shared with you the multiple ways to fill out your ballot in the state of Michigan. And then finally, I listed the steps to assure that your ballot counts, because any mistake will just like make your vote not count, and then your voice isn't heard. And that's the last thing you want. You want to be able to use your American right as a citizen to pick who you want to run the country. And these are the steps that you got to follow to properly vote in Michigan. And now hopefully you have the information that you need to take advantage of your right as a U.S. citizen to vote in the elections. Thank you.